earnings claims. They're the end-all, be-all to every would-be franchisee. I know that's what you think now, but stay tuned in this video because I'm going to help you see a different picture. After 22 years of franchise consulting, I believe that, number one, you probably can't sell a franchise without an earnings claim. Number two, for most people, earnings claims set them up for big trouble. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. That was a doozy of an introduction. My name is Kim Daly. I'm a franchise consultant, and like I just said, for the last 22 years, I have been helping people just like you say yes to the dream to own a franchise business by matching their background, interests, skills, finances, and life goals to the best franchise opportunities out there today. So if you stay with me to the end of the video, I will share how you could be my next candidate and a little bit more about my free service. But let's dive into this juicy topic of earnings claims in franchising. So we all know why earnings claims are good, right? They're fun to look at, especially if the numbers are really inspiring. That is why franchisors know they need to have an earnings claim in their franchise disclosure document if they ever hope to sell a franchise. Now, that's a really important point if you are an emerging franchisor, right? Where there's no franchisees who can validate the story. So having some claim to what a fully blown out business looks like, it's a good thing. It helps investors understand what could happen in their business. The key words being could happen. So let's talk more about why I believe earnings claims are going to set you up to hurt you more than they could help you if they're not used properly. So why are earnings claims bad? Oh, for so many reasons. The first of which is that owning a business is not transactional. So when you look at numbers on a piece of paper, it feels like, okay, I can put in this amount of money, and if I'm average, I can make this amount of money back. That's what you believe, right? There's a huge flaw in that thinking because success in a business happens by law. By what? By law. Now, we're going to come back to the by law comment in just a minute. So the first reason I don't like earnings claims is it sets most people up to believe something that may not be true for them. The second reason I don't love earnings claims, numbers on a piece of paper that you're going to make an investment decision based on, is because numbers on a piece of paper don't tell you diddly squat about who you have to become. Who were those owners that created that outcome? Not who are they like on their resume? What skills did they have? Because skills don't matter in the success of a business. As I said earlier, success in a business happens by law, not by degree, not by prior experience. Now, sometimes experience helps you understand the principles of success so that you can work by law instead of violating the law. But I'm going to get to that law. Don't worry. When you enter business ownership, believing that those numbers on a piece of paper were created transactionally and that if you just become average, you are missing the grander picture. You are the biggest determining factor of the success in this business, whether you realize it or not. Just because you don't understand that franchising is not plug and play, even though we use those words plug and play, right? Because it's business in a box, because it's turnkey. These are terms that confuse people. Yes, it is business in a box in that you're going to open this box, you're going to pay that franchise fee, and you're going to be given tools. But it's how you operate with those tools. It's how you think with those tools that determines the outcome. The startup part of the business is in a box. It's turnkey compared to an entrepreneur who doesn't have any of that, who has to go create all of that. But by no means does turnkey or business in a box imply that because I put this amount of money in and this is the earnings claim they're making in their FDD, that that's what I can make. And this is the troubling part for me. Because when you say yes to owning a business, it's because you have a desire to be a business owner. You want to be in control. Well, in order to be successful in the business, you must learn how to be in control of this particular business. What the heck does that mean? It means learning how to attract customers to you. Who are those customers? Why do they come to you compared to somebody else? How do you attract them to you? How do you make them want to come to you? If you need to hire a team of people, how do you attract a good manager to you? Who do you have to be to attract an amazing general manager who will work loyally for you when you're not there? Here are the words that I'm saying. Who do you have to become to get these outcomes? The earnings claim tells you nothing of that. It tells you that some people have been successful in becoming those people and serving a certain customer, but it doesn't tell you the answers to those questions. So for those people out there who say, well, I looked at franchising and I never did it because those earnings claims weren't good enough. Okay, now you understand why. Number one, I have a business. But number two, that is so misguided. It's misinformed. This is not a transaction. You are not putting money in to get money out. You are putting money in. You are making an investment in something that already has a track record that you can lean into, but you have to show up. You have to show up mentally, not with an MBA, not with prior business ownership experience, but with a mindset that is one of abundance. Now I'm starting to get to the law, but I'm going to come back to that. I don't want to get too far off track. So the second reason I don't like earnings claims is because it doesn't tell you who you have to wake up and become in order to make money. You have to learn to give before you can receive. We're not go-getters. We are go-givers. And if you are not a go-giver, you are never going to get. And that is the biggest determining factor of success and failure in a franchise. So for those people who are out there struggling in their franchise business, feeling like they were owed something because the earnings claim said something that they cannot make true, does this make the franchisor a liar? No. It means you have some growing to do. You need to own it. You need to learn what the laws are that govern success in a business. When you align with the laws, it is guaranteed that you will be successful. That is the law, not an earnings claim. The third reason that I do not like earnings claims and don't want you to use these numbers on a piece of paper to judge your entire future off of is because these are historical numbers. You are investing in a franchise for the future potential. You say yes to a franchise because you found people who inspire you and they have a vision for bringing a product or service to market in a new and innovative and exciting way. And you align to that vision. And so you're raising your hand to say, please pick me. I want to be a part of that trajectory. I want to help you make that vision come true. Give me your business plan. Let me take it back to my hometown and let me execute to help you build this grand national brand. That's what you're doing when you say yes to a franchise. So when we're looking at earnings claims, which are from last year or the year before, there are laws about how franchisors have to make earnings claims, but they are not today's numbers. Today's numbers can't be in the FDD. This is a synopsis of the past. So why are we using numbers from the past to make a future investment decision? It's illogical. It makes absolutely no sense. So you're using historical numbers to make a decision about your future. That is completely illogical. Isn't it more important to find out what the numbers look like today at this very moment? If the franchisor is getting better at what they do month over month, year over year, then the franchisees who've just graduated from training and are out there in the field today, they may have startup numbers, that are not yet reflected in the earnings claim. It's better to hear their stories, right? Franchisees who are now another year ahead in their business, they may have numbers that are different from what's in the FDD. Rising tides raise all ships. All it takes is one franchisee to break free from the paradigm, and that's what this is, a set of thoughts about how this business can operate. It takes one person to bust that paradigm, and that earnings claim is no longer. That's what I did in my franchise back in 2011. You've heard the story. I'm not going to share it today. That's for other videos I've already made. But these numbers set up in your mindset a belief that feels a little bit fixed. But yet, business is ever changing. It's dynamic. It's growing. So why are we using numbers from the past to make future decisions? And especially when people look at numbers from the past and go, oh, well, there's not enough money in that business, I'm not going to do it. That is so limited. Now, there are some businesses out there that have a capped return. That doesn't make it good or bad. It just makes it is what it is. But the vast majority of businesses out there have no limit to how big you can grow. I don't care if 100 or 200 people before you have only tapped 0.5% of their market. If they have more market to grow into, all it takes is one person to break that paradigm and get to 1% of their market. And that earnings claim and that piece of paper no longer is valid. So these are 3 really big reasons that I am not a big fan of you using earnings claims to make an investment decision. I want to go back to the comment I made about success happens by law. And I've mentioned it a couple of times here. So what are the laws that govern success? There are a lot of natural laws of the universe, and I'm not going to talk about them all today, but I'm going to talk about 2 big ones. The first one is the law of vibration. You may have heard of the law of attraction. Well, the law of attraction is the secondary law of the law of vibration. The law of vibration states that everything is frequency. If you are vibrating at a frequency down here, but success is on a frequency up here, then you have to raise your vibration to the vibration of success. And by law, when you match that vibration and you hold that vibration, by law, success is guaranteed. The second law I want to talk about is the law of cause and effect. This is a really big law. The law is stating that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. You've heard it stated that way. Now I'm going to put it in business terms. You, Mr. Business Owner, are causing an effect. When we don't like the effect that we're seeing in our lives, we have to look in the mirror and realize that we are the cause of whatever effect we're getting. I know that is a harsh reality to hear, especially if it's your first time hearing it. But lean into me, don't tune out, because this is truth. If you really want to understand how to be successful, how to make sense of a franchise before you say yes to it, so you can go in really understanding what drives success, you must understand how to work with the laws of the universe. Most people that are successful are what we call unconsciously competent. They don't even know how they're being successful. I was one of them. Most people are. But if you have a thirst for personal development like Kim Daly, then when something magical happens in your life, like growing your business by 350% in 12 months, you don't just live through that and go, wow, that was fun. You start to really question, what the heck did I do? And that's what set me out to really learn about the principles of success. Not just so that I could look back at my past and go, wow, that's how I did that. But more importantly, so that I could do it again. Because if you know the laws, then you can always be successful. And I'm going to venture to guess that's what you're looking for. You're trying to say yes to a franchise because it's buying down the learning curve of owning a business because you want to get control. You want to be successful. You want to earn money. You want to get back your time. You want all of the personal freedoms that come from business ownership. You want all of that. Well, You can have all of that if you understand how to work with and use the natural laws that govern success. If you're showing up expecting somebody else to do this for you, which is one of the biggest pitfalls in franchising, if you're showing up expecting the franchisor or the brand, build it and they will come, to do it for you, that is another pitfall in franchising. That's the silent killer in franchising. I've been talking about that. I think I'm the only one talking about that. There's so many people in franchising that believe, well, I bought a franchise. It should just work. Going back to the word turnkey. It doesn't just work until you show up and work it. And you must work with the principles of success. You must work with these two laws that I've mentioned, the law of vibration or the law of attraction and the law of cause and effect. So if you really want to understand what the people who are making that money and that earnings claim are doing to cause that effect, you need to ask better questions than how much money are you making, Mr. Franchisee? Who cares? You need to ask questions that have to deal with who you have to become. And you have to look in the mirror and say to yourself, how do I need to grow? Do I have the skills that that franchisee has? Can I show up with a growth, abundant mindset rather than the fixed mindset that I might have had my entire life? If you're coming into business ownership from a place of being very, very conservative with a high level of doubt and skepticism, you are going to have bigger mountains to climb than somebody who comes in with faith and hope and positive expectancy. It doesn't make it bad or good. Only you decide if it's bad or good. That's another law, the law of polarity. Everything is positive and negative. Who decides what's good and bad? You decide what's good and bad. So let go of, I'm a conservative investor, so this is going to be harder for me. That's just negative self-talk. And does that serve you if you want to go on and run a successful business? It absolutely does not. All you have to do to change that paradigm, which is your set of beliefs, is stop saying it. Start affirming that you are a confident decision maker. You make decisions quickly. You're an abundant thinker. Wake up every day and try to find the good in every day. Now, yes, that's going to take some repetition. That's going to take some careful awareness of everything you're thinking and then overriding of that system that's in your mind. But little by little, if the will is there, little by little, you will change that paradigm. Now, we all operate from a paradigm. Everybody operates from a paradigm. Even companies operate from a paradigm. Even that earnings claim in the franchise has set up a paradigm. It's a set of beliefs. It's an invisible fence that keeps people inside the fence. The paradigm that you carry into the world is how you naturally see the world. Now, it is hard to overcome your paradigm. Everything inside of you is going to hold you back, right? That's what you feel, that you're inspired by the dream. You want to move forward. And then the night before you're going to sign your franchise agreement, you talk yourself out of it by laying in bed at 2 a.m. and saying all the things in your head and worrying about all the things that are going to go wrong. And you very quickly talk yourself down from the dream and say, there's no way I can do this. I was crazy to even think. That's because you bumped into that invisible fence that is there, I think, as a survival mechanism because we're instinctual in some part, but we have a consciousness that we can control. We're not animals. So an animal operates by instinct, and instinct is perfect. But humans have greater capacity. We have a consciousness and a subconscious mind, which is our emotional mind. And that's where fear lives. It lives there because you consistently feed your self-doubt and talking about things that are going to go wrong. So that sets up a fear-based mindset. It takes just as much energy to create a faith-based, abundant mindset as it does to take a fear-based mindset. Think about that for 1 minute. Both fear and faith are operating on you believing in something that is unseen. Which one serves you? Self-doubt, worry, or faith and hope? Which one serves you? Going back to the law of vibration, If you're vibrating at a level of fear and doubt and uncertainty, guess what you will attract? Fear, doubt, and uncertainty. I would venture to say that most people who end up bankrupt through their franchise, in a franchise where the vast majority of people are thriving and growing, it's because they entered with that poverty mindset. Bankruptcy happens in your mindset before it happens in your life. Why? Because of the law of cause and effect. Because of the law of vibration. If you're thinking on that frequency, you cannot get abundance. Abundance is higher than fear. Abundance is up here. This is goodness. This is life. This is faith. This is hope. This is you being a giver, not a getter. This is where all that other stuff lives. So if you want to be in harmony with the law of success, you must figure out how to overcome yourself, overcome that invisible fence that is your paradigm that keeps you thinking limiting thoughts, and raise your vibration to one of hope and belief and faith and certainty. Now, in a franchise, because there are other people who are on that frequency of faith and hope and success, it's easier than when you're an entrepreneur because you can align yourself to people. And when you hear them tell the story, you're like, yes, if they can do it, I can do it. But you still have to do the internal work. You are causing the effect that you're seeing in your business. You must own that. You would own it if it was successful. So you have to own it when you're not being successful. It's not a big deal. Don't judge it. Don't condemn yourself. Just do better. Wake up and show up every single day to do 1% better. Jesus said we must die to self every day. What does that mean? We must die to our flesh. We must die to all the negative things we're thinking and put on the mind of Christ. What is the mind of Christ? It's the highest form of thinking. It's love, abundance, it's joy, it's satisfaction, it's peace. Success operates at that frequency. That is the law. So, if you're going to use earnings claims transactionally, you are going to end up in a world of trouble. If you're coming from behind with a mindset of doubt, of skepticism, if you're lucky enough to be one who's looking at the earnings claim and you are a person who already has a paradigm of abundance and a growth mindset, you might get lucky and you might actually produce those earnings claims. But wouldn't it be better to enter into this franchisee relationship to get what you want, which is richer life, by understanding the principles that will lead you to a richer life? These are the laws that govern success. So if you want to be a successful franchisee, learn to own it. Learn to have an abundant mindset. Learn what your paradigm is. Where are you bumping up against the resistance that seems to want to hold you back? And figure out how to overcome yourself, not all at once, but just a little bit at a time. And keep working at it, keep chipping away at it. And one day, if you keep doing it by will, because the passion in you to be financially free, to become a successful business owner, can overcome those limiting self-doubts, if you continue to believe and you continue to overcome yourself every single day, that is the real work to be successful in your business. And this is why nobody but you can ever predict if you will go on and become a successful franchisee. All the power is in your hands. And now you have a little bit greater understanding of how to use the laws to your success. To really understand the laws, you got to study these laws every single day. I've made it my personal mission to study these laws. I am so convicted that I'm launching a whole new business that's going to be geared toward teaching franchisees and franchisors these laws. Because if all of us together work with the law of success, Imagine what we can create globally in the world of franchising. There's a term in franchising that's being tossed around these days, responsible franchising. Responsible franchising isn't franchisors having better earnings claims. Responsible franchising is franchisors understanding how to teach from the laws that govern success. It's franchisees showing up not to get, but to give, to be people who want to serve. And in serving, you then receive, to be owners who are here to work within the laws of the universe that guarantee us all success and freedom. And oh, by the way, eternal life. Thank you for watching until the end. If you were out on the sideline and you are ready to begin your journey to explore franchise, to find your own definition of freedom, well, you can tell through my passion, I hope, that I would love to be your franchise consultant. I mentioned up front that my services are totally free for you. I'm paid by franchisors to offer this amazing service to help connect you to good, solid franchisors, but more importantly, to businesses that align to you. So if you're ready to begin that journey, all you have to do is follow the link in the description below. And I can't wait to meet you. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and I'll see you in the next one.